Well, good morning, all. I would like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone this morning. Welcome to all members of council and our staff that will provide us facts and information so we can make decisions in the best interests of the Corporation of ACW and all of our full-time and seasonal residents. Welcome also to our summer students, Chantel and Haley, joining us again this morning. Happy to have you, and to all members of the public and the media that may be in attendance. Do any members of council have a pecuniary interest or potential conflict of interest or general nature thereof of any agenda item that we have today? Thank you for that. We do have the council meeting minutes of the 3rd day of June that have been circulated, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder for the adoption of these, please. And that is Councillor Miltenberg and Forrester, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby adopts the June 3rd, 2025 council meeting minutes as written. Do we have any questions on these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. Open forum is an opportunity for any members of the public to make any comments that they would care to regarding any agenda item that we have today. Is there any members of the public that would like to make any comments at this time? Oh, please go to the microphone if you would and introduce yourself first and last name and the agenda item that you're commenting on, please.
Okay. Hey, I'm Mackenzie Deishley coming from Ben Miller, from the Ben Miller Community Hall Committee, and I just want to have a little comment on agenda item 9.1. That was the Ben Miller Community Hall Parkland Revitalization Request for Proposal. Try to keep it short and sweet. So I'm here on behalf of the Ben Miller Community Hall Committee. Just to let you know, our committee fully supports the township's recommendations for council to accept the proposal from Blue Imp. The proposal looks fun, it's unique, it looks durable, and it's affordable. We think it'll fit right in Ben Miller. Our thoughts and feedback on the proposal were well captured in the comment section of the report, and we think the township staff have done a great job at preparing everything. We'd like to provide you just with a small update on our fundraising progress that was outlined in the background section of the report. June's been really busy for us. We've had 3 additional fundraisers and several donations come in since June the 3rd, raising an additional $7,696.11. We had a silent auction, a barn quilt fundraiser, and our ice cream fundraiser. In addition to this, we have 3 more confirmed donations from Dan Kerr at Or Insurance and Capital Power, totaling $3,500. And then back in the spring, Brunsma Excavating generously offered a $5,000 in-kind service donation. So we're hopeful after this meeting, if the proposal's been accepted, we could get back to them and possibly accept that. Altogether, that brings our committee's total fundraising efforts to $69,119.51, which surpasses our original goal of $67,000. This is a really big milestone for us in a short time. That breaks down to almost $10,000 a month that we've raised. It's been a lot of fun seeing our community come out and get together in just a small, short period of time to support this project. We've raised half the cost of the proposed playground, and it fully covers the equipment portion in the proposal. All of the pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together, and kids and families and lots of sports teams are excited for this. So we'd just like to thank you for listening to me time and time again. Let us, on behalf of the committee, on our thoughts and updates on the project. And with any luck, there'll be something in the ground next spring for kids to enjoy. So we hope you have a great day, and it looks like it's going to be a good one.
Thank you very much, Mac. And as unconventional as this is, I'd like to ask council to show a round of applause for Mac and Oliver.
It takes a team, so.
Well, thank you very much to yourself and all of your team. Is there any other comments from any members of the public at this time? And seeing none, we do not have any delegations today. We will move on to our Treasury Department, and the first item would be the approval of the authorization of the payment of the June 2025 accounts as presented. Do I have a mover and a seconder to this effect? Councillor Blake and Councillor Hickey, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby authorizes the payment of the June 2025 accounts as presented. Do we have any questions on these numbers? And if not, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. The payment of the previous month's actual accounts, a mover and a seconder for these, please. A move by Councillor Blake and Forrester that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby approves the payment of the May 2025 accounts in the amount of $1,055,592.34. Do we have any questions on any of these numbers? Councillor Snowblin, please.
I don't have a question on that, but I was remiss in trying to find the page on the previous 6.2 agenda item. If it's at all possible, I could ask my question now. If it's at your purview, I'd ask it a little later if you'd grant me that.
Okay, so you're going back to 6.1, is that correct?
I'm sorry, 6.1, yes.
Yes, okay, please continue.
My question is on page 20. May the 20th, there was a 35% refund of permit on septic permit fees. In the amount of $262.50. I'm not questioning the amount. I'm just questioning why would we have a refund on that?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I will confer to staff. Joy, please.
In response to that, we had an applicant resubmit a different septic system. So their previous application was refunded and then they were charged again for their new application.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Joy, and the question. So we're dealing with 6.2. Are there any questions on any of the numbers of that? If not, did I ask for a motion for?
There is a mover and a seconder.
A mover and a seconder, so all in favor of this motion, and that is carried. Thank you. And 6.3 is the summary revenue/expenditure reports, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. Councillor Miltenberg and Blake, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council adopts the summary revenue/expenditure reports as written for the Township, the Lucknow and District Medical Center, and the Lucknow and District Recreation from January to May of 2025. Do we have any questions on these numbers? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. 6.4 is the financing for the Wellington Street and Ashfield Street reconstruction projects. We have a fulsome report on this. The deadline was the 10th day of June, and there were 7 applicants for some for a 5-year and a 10-year loan, and it is suggested that that be done within. And is there any questions for this? Councillor Blake, please.
Yeah, thank you. Given its nature with such a small amount and it being recommended that we do it in-house, is there an option to do 0% interest on that? Obviously, the residents down in Port Alberta are already paying a substantial amount of money, and if it's a small amount overall for the township, it would be nice to see them get a little break on that. So I was just asking that question if there is that chance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, and I will defer to our CEO. Or Councillor Miltenberg, do you have a comment, please, first, and then I'll go to our CEO.
Yeah, Councillor Blake is along the same line as me. I wouldn't be asking for 0%, but when I looked at those fixed rates, I mean, that's what the bank is giving them. Can we give them more, a rate you wouldn't necessarily get from the bank, what we would pay more or less and make it revenue neutral is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for free money, but I would be interested in revenue neutral money.
Okay, thank you, and I'll defer to our CAO. Yes, please.
So with respect to 0, I would say no, because we have municipal drain bills that go out all the time. We have capital drainage works going all the time. They pay interest. This project, the storm sewer, is no different than a municipal drain. So I would say if you need to set, we don't want to set precedents. So I would say definitely not 0% because we have to treat everyone the same.
That's understandable. We have other loans that other residents, landowners have to abide by also. Councillor Snowblin, please.
Thank you very much. As much as I agree with Councillor Blake that it would be nice to give them a break, I've heard it said around the council table by some councillors that we need to treat everybody equally. And I think we have to keep that foremost if we are going to stay with that in that context, treat everybody equally. And as much as it would be lovely to give everybody a break on that, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I am in favor of treating everybody equally, I guess. My question, though, is to the CAO, has this been precedent before where we have used within the funds within, or When it was done in Port Albert several years ago, was it through the bank, or was there anything else that we have, sort of been the banker on something like this?
Okay, thanks for the question. CAO, please.
So back, I'm trying to think what year it was, 2011 when we did London Road, we went ahead with the bank. However, there were a few stragglers after that came after the fact, and I brought that back to council. So council agreed at that time to do in-house. Other than that, I do not recall doing any lending in-house other than that. I say that slowly, so I got to think back 24 years of just running. I don't think so.
Okay, thank you for that. A follow-up, Councillor Snowden, please.
Follow up on that then is, I'm not a banker. I don't know what the rules are and things like that, but this is allowed within the Municipal Act that we can do this. Is that correct? So I don't know if that's something that if that's the business council wants to get into, is being the banker. Because what if interest rates go down and they can get a better loan at the bank? That wouldn't be very nice if I was on that end. But conversely, what if interest rates went up and we were sitting here holding at a much lower rate of interest? I guess I don't know that that's the business that we're in. And I question that more than anything.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Miltenberg and then Hickey, please.
Yeah, I understand your comments, Anita, and I kind of in principle agree with most of them. We're still friends. But my thing is, okay, it's not unprecedented. And even if it was unprecedented, that doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do because times change and things change. As far as banks and loans go, you could set it up the same way as they would at the bank. It's a 5-year term, and at 5 years you have to negotiate special, or you take a 10-year term, it's slightly higher. Like I think of it as the same way as, like, let's say we started with this septic system and now somebody has to put in a brand new septic system or a septic system because they didn't have a working one before. And that is going to be difficult for them to finance perhaps because that's 20,000 like right now. It's not, and that was 5 years ago. It's not nice when it goes suddenly, right? So maybe it's something we need to look at if we're asking for, something that wasn't in their plan but is in our plan. And is for the betterment of everyone. I don't have any moral objections or ethical objections or anything. I think that the municipal drain comment was a valid one. If we don't give the break on it for municipal drain people, why would we do it for the Wellington or even, future septic system people? But we don't want to create hardships by our policies that for some are for the greater good too. So if we can use our lending power, and we certainly have it, and we get a rate that we get at the bank, I don't see that there's not only any issue, I don't actually see any danger with it either. Like, that's the way I'm looking at it. And those are my comments.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hickey, please.
Thank you. And a question for staff through you, Mr. Mayor, would be comparing this loan to a 10-year tile loan that we offer. If someone came in today for a 10-year tile loan, would they be getting the 5.316 also, or how do you determine the rate for that tile loan?
Okay, I will defer to our clerk for that response, please.
The tile drain loan is set at 6% over 10 years. And it's also not our money, it's the province's money. We just facilitate it.
Okay, thank you for that. You're good with that, Councillor Hickey. Thank you. Councillor Snowden, please.
In response to Councillor Miltenberg's comments, I guess where I was going with it is we don't want to, I guess your comments about we don't want to create hardships on residents. No, we don't want to create hardships on residents. But I think we have to focus on, as council members, we also don't want to create hardships for council in the future. And with that, there could be a hardship for council in the future if for some reason someone defaulted on the loan, or if someone sold the house or property and somehow or another the loan, I don't know, the loan that they had, it could become a mess somehow. And that becomes a hardship for council. So I think, first and foremost, we have to take care of our residents, but we also have to take care of the future of council and the business of council. So I'm just a little bit cautious and I'm a little bit leery about this. I like things in business to be clean and neat and sharp and within a box. And when you start, well, we're going to give this one a loan, but we're going to give this one a loan, but we're not going to give this one a loan. I don't know. It becomes a little blurred for me. And as far as the interest rates go, I'd have to put myself in this position. It would be really tough, but I would do everything I could with the bank, provided I have a good reputation with the bank to negotiate that loan. And loans can be negotiated at banks or through lines of credit, which are oftentimes lower than a loan. I think that I would, if it were me, I would be very creative in trying to come up with the money. I understand CAO's, compassion in offering this to the residents, and certainly with council offering the compassion towards residents. I just wonder if it is really in the best interest of council and the business of council to do that. And I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm just putting the question out there. Is it in our best interest to do this?
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
I have a question about that and then a comment. So the question would be, when Anita spoke of, would that come back to bite us if they defaulted? Would it be treated the same as it goes on their tax bill? Like we would not be in danger of carrying that loan, correct, if they defaulted?
Okay, if that's a question, I will
I'm hearing a nod. I'm seeing a nod. So
defer to our CEO for a verbal response.
For clarification, if we borrow the money from the bank, the municipality is borrowing money for the bank, not the individuals. We're doing it on their behalf. So if they default in their payments to us, yes, if they don't pay in time, they'll be charged interest and eventually be transferred to their tax account.
okay.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
on this topic, if council don't want to fundraise, or not fundraise, sorry, Mackenzie's think finance this through the municipality, that's fine. We can go to the bank and ask for the same money. So it's not a big deal for us. It's just, we thought we were just doing it internally, but if it seems to be a big deal, we can go ahead and make the loan with the bank and bring it back to the next meeting.
Councillor Miltenberg, a follow-up?
Yeah, so to continue that, I mean, so we have the statement we want to treat everyone the same. So let's say we're going to say no to this because it seems to be uncertain waters. We haven't done it before. We're sure we know what we're doing. But that still begs the question is, what if we have people who cannot afford to put in a new septic system but must? And that would be a minor loan on a very valuable property that's well secured that we could do internally if need be. But because we've said no to this, do we now need to say no to that? I mean, if we're looking big picture, we're talking about if the septic system finds as many bad ones as I suspect, there's going to be some real monetary consideration on some pretty valuable properties, which would be well secured, I would think. I don't know. I don't want to not do it either. So that's my concerns.
Okay, thank you. I guess Councillor Blake, thank you for bringing this up, and I mean that with all sincerity. I think we need I suggest to take a balanced approach on this. And if we adjust the interest rate on this, then we lay ourselves open to adjusting the interest rate for other loans that that could happen. And it is a recommendation to do this from within. We have the capacity to do it from within. I don't see any challenge with that. And I think that we should stay the course on this, and it treats everyone the same, and to do it internally is very workable. So, Councillor Forster.
Thanks, and just a quick comment on that. Like, if I go to the bank to say I'm actually looking for a new seed drill, they quote you a rate, and you've asked the bank what they're doing, or?
Yes, CEO response to the rate, please.
Alan reached out to the bank and these are their rates.
So there's nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. If we can afford to do it, do it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for a show of hands if we are in support of considering the adoption of the loans by bylaw in section 18. Show of hands if we're in support of this. Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. No, it is not carried. It is supported by council.
We're going to consider the bylaw in section 8.
Correct. Correct. Yes. Thank you for that. We have nothing under planning today. Chief Building Officer's report, very fulsome report by Joy. Do we have any questions on this? If none, great work, Joy, and to your colleagues. Thank you very much. 9.1 is the request for proposal results. That has been circulated. I will entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. And Councillor Blake and Miltonberg, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council accept the proposal received from Blue Imp SF Scott Manufacturing Company Limited in brackets in the amount of $123,462 plus HST for the purchase, installation of the playground equipment, accessible pathways, and the barrier fence at the Ben Miller Community Hall Parkland, contingent upon funding approval from the Ontario Trillium Foundation, and there has been a grant submitted for that. Is there any further questions on this? Councillor Miltonberg and then Snowblin, please.
Yeah, thank you. I like the wording because, as we probably all know, if you spend money before you get the grant, you're disqualified from the grant. So I would suggest, based on the comments in open forum, that until the grant is or is not, have a definitive decision that no donations for in-kind would be accepted yet. The other comment is, having dealt with Ontario Trillium Foundation myself multiple times, their goal is 4 months. I have not had them reach their goal yet of 4 months with an answer. So if we're talking March, April, May, June, July, it may well be September before they tell us about that grant. Would we still be able to pull this off, do you think? Or is that an unfair question? It's just a...
Well, thanks for the question. So time framed, staff, do you have any comment on that as to the consideration of the grant, please?
So as far as I'm concerned, we have to wait till OTF come back because I don't want to walk away from that loan or from that that grant. But I don't have a crystal ball, so I would assume once we tell them that we can go ahead, we'll tell them and we'll move forward. And like Mackenzie said earlier, hopefully they can enjoy it next year. So.
Okay. Any further follow-up on that? Okay. We have a motion that has been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion is read. And that is carried. And thanks again very much to Mackenzie and your colleagues for the great fundraising efforts that you have done for this cause. 9.2 is a bylaw enforcement report. It is for information purposes. Do we have any questions on this report? Next, 9.3 is the cemetery bylaw fees that has been presented to us for consideration as proposed. I will suggest it's very appropriate that this be updated, and it's still not cost recovery. However, it's closer, and that's very appropriate. Councillor Miltonberg, please.
Yeah, for fun, I just kind of put some numbers in the inflation calculator. So a single lot in 2001 would be worth $1,600 something today because it's about $1.44. It's gone up. So good job we didn't do it up. But having looked at that, I read the statement that said the proposed fee schedule includes an approximate 5% increase with further adjustments to align more closely with comparator averages. What does that statement with further adjustments to align? Does that mean cost of living adjustments? What are we thinking that means actually?
Okay, and I will defer to staff for that, please. Ellen?
So in reviewing the cemetery fees, Clerk Florence provided comparator municipalities rates, and to start, we just applied a 5% blanket increase to all of the township's current fees, and then depending on where that number landed, looking at the average and the median of the comparators, we would bump it up or down to like the nearest $1, $5, $10 increment. So it was, I wouldn't say there's like an exact formula for each fee.
Okay, follow up, please.
Yeah, so further to that, would that mean that you would do this yearly and it would come back, or it would be an internal document until we reach the median, or how does that work procedurally?
I'll defer to our clerk for that, please.
It was just, no, we haven't considered how that would be increased annually, no. I mean, we could add a stipulation that it'd be increased by CPI. A lot of cemeteries do that. It's a way to kind of keep up. You just want to make sure that, every few years you check it just to make sure you're not out of market with everyone else.
Right,
And
exactly. Thank you.
that's kind of
please
what
go.
I was aiming for, is like maybe we just put CP, whatever it is on it, and then say review it every 4 years or something like that. I'm less concerned about being exactly the same as everybody else as I am about like the large difference there would have been in 20 years had we kept up, and then it might be a lot closer to revenue neutral. So just so we don't have to look at this every year, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, please, clerk.
I think historically too, the cemetery, as noted in the report, has not been revenue neutral, and I don't suspect that even if you were to do so, that it would become revenue neutral. It's just the nature of the business. And that's why most municipalities are the ones taking over cemeteries.
Right, okay. Please continue.
Yeah, so I'd be happy to support this, and then further report many moons down the road with how we're going to go forward. Because at one point I did say we just need more people to die for this to be revenue neutral, which, wasn't politically correct, and I'd like to avoid saying that yet one more time.
Probably a good choice. So I will ask council if we are in support of staff preparing an amendment to the consolidated fee bylaw, including the Colborne Cemetery fees as proposed. A show of hands if we're in support of this, please. And that is supported by council. Thank you. 9.4 is the Colborne Cemetery bylaw update. It is a matter of housekeeping and wording. Any questions or comments on this? And if not, I'll ask for show of hands if we're willing to consider this by adoption in the cemetery bylaw in section 18. And that is supported by council. Thank you. Colborne Cemetery Memorial Service, usually a member of council leads that. Councillor Vanstone, remind me, did you do that last year? You did? Usually we alternate. Is it okay if I do it this year? Is that okay with council? All right. Okay. So staff, you're good with that? To send that information forward. Employee Appreciation and Engagement Committee mid-year update. It is for information purposes. I'm really, really happy that this is so positively received by our staff. They appear to really enjoy it, and that is what we want. It is employee appreciation. Any questions or comments for information purposes? Okay, I thank you. 10.1 is the Veolia Water Operations and Maintenance Report. Everyone has read it. Any questions or comments? First will be Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, it's more a comment on the the conciseness of it. It's certainly about 20 pages less than I'm used to, and it's not giving us percentages. Is this kind of just we're throwing it out there, and at the end of the year you get the really, really long one?
Thank you for that. CAO, please.
Yeah, this is not from the ministry. This is from Veolia. So this is similar to what they just changed the color of it. The percentage comes from the report annually.
Okay, we're good. Okay, it's for information purposes. We have nothing under drainage. We do under public works, and that is the gravel road plan update. Thank you very much for this, Tom. Great work. It is for information purposes. Do we have any questions or comments of Tom and the progress that's being made? Councillor Forrester, please.
Hey, thanks, Glenn. Just a quick question, like how long will that, when they drain the road, how long will that take? You have to shut the road down, I take it, right?
Thanks for the question. Tom, please.
It'll be fairly quick. We will shut the road down. It shouldn't take more than a couple days, and then we'll have to bring in more gravel and top it up.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, I think it's a great report, and with all that information, a lot of questions that would be asked are already answered, and I really like the pictures, so I understand what's going on, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Tom. Great progress here being made, and you said you would do that, and that's exactly what is happening, and thank you for that. Committee reports. Do any members of council have any committee reports that they would like to share at this time? And I will go first to Councillor Forrester, and then Miltenberg, and then Vanstone.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. A week ago, I attended a CHIP committee meeting in Clinton. The ATV maps are going to the printer. I think there's gonna be roughly around 1,000 printed, and each township that'll get all divvied up. And we're not the only township having trouble with their roads this spring. Morris Turnberry actually had to close a paved road down due to too much heavy equipment on it. It just went to, they couldn't drive down it. So that's about all we discussed on that. I'd like to give a shout out to the St. Helens Hall. We held my Forster family reunion there a couple Sundays ago. And I couldn't believe how busy that playground was. Like, there was always children on it. So good. That'll really help Ben Miller Hall. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Councillor Forster. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, St. Helens, we had our fish fry there. It did sell out. Beautiful weather, well attended, playground used. They do have some plans for the reserves, which would include like more tables and stuff, but we are having a meeting on Monday where that will be fleshed out and you'll eventually get the minutes, but really, really good turnout and well received, and everybody seemed very happy. I also attended the Balls Bridge, but the deputy mayor is going to speak to that.
Okay, thank you for that. Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, as Councillor Miltenberg said, we did have a Balls Bridge meeting. There's been a lot of problems back there with, well, burnouts, they call them. So they're just people trying to destroy the bridge. So it was moved by our committee that the bridge be closed, and we're asking that a bylaw be made from this township to, at the next meeting, come forward so that we can officially close our side of the bridge down to vehicular traffic. It's still going to be open to walking and maybe snowmobiles and 4x4s, but that decision hasn't been made yet. So anyways, that's what I'm asking for. If the clerk can bring a bylaw forward at our next meeting, if council's in favor of that, to close our half of the bridge. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really sad that has to happen. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, so to flesh out why we need to close it, we talked about it at a previous meeting. We set up security cameras, and what the security cameras are finding are vehicles going on the bridge and burning it out until there's huge ruts and lots of noise and the bridge shakes. They try to get the bridge shaking. And the police are called, but of course they can't get there in time. And with the camera, we're noticing they are not locals. It appears to have spread beyond, like, this is a fun thing to go try to shake the bridge down. So unfortunately, that's why we said, well, we have to at least temporarily close it. And hopefully both the councils will agree to permanently close it to vehicular, I feel like I'm drinking, vehicular traffic. And maybe revisit it. But right now, the amount of damage they're doing is, you know, they're just going to destroy it. It's going to actually fall off. So it's really, really a shame.
Indeed, it is a shame. Vandalism hurts everyone. Any other committee reports? Councillor Blake, please.
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick one about the Ben Miller Hall roast beef dinner. It was well attended. I wasn't able to attend it myself, but I've heard lots of great things about it from everybody that was able to be there. Over 200 attendees. So that was, yeah, well done. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Just to back up a little bit, are you clear, clerk, on bringing back a bylaw to a future meeting for what Deputy Mayor spoke of?
We have been in consult with the staff at Central Huron, and we will have something back for the July 15th meeting.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Any other committee reports? If not, I did attend the Dungannon Senior opening with Kelly on the 4th of June, and it was a great event. It's great to see the seniors open, the building open again in Dungannon. It was well attended, and there was a great amount of interest to utilize it. And we really want to thank the McKay Centre for facilitating that with the seniors in Dungannon. That was a great event. I also made comments at the Kingsbridge Saving Harmony play a week ago Sunday. Great play. Congratulations to all the talent you have within the community of Kingsbridge. Is simply amazing. and it was a fun play that was enjoyed. Great attendance, and Councillor Miltenberg, if you would send our congratulations back to the Kingsbridge Centre and all that's involved in that, it would be appreciated. Saturday evening, I could not attend the fish fry. I was in attendance at the 50th anniversary of the Maitland Trail Association in Goderich and brought comments on behalf of ACW. And again, it was really well attended. There's probably a couple hundred people there. There's a couple of auction items that were well received. One was a tour of the salt mine in Goderich, brought $3,750, and then a flight, Papal Aviation out of Goderich or Seaforth to Wingham and back. That was donated by Don and Sam Apavu and Papal Aviation. That was well received, and it was a great evening and a great cause for the Maitland Trail. So with that, is there any new business that anyone would like to bring forward to a future meeting? Councillor Snoblin, please.
I guess just a question more than anything on new business. I think it was maybe 2 meetings ago, we were to have a delegation from the general manager or whoever from TAPCO. And I guess he never showed up, or I don't know if there was any follow-up on that or if we should follow up on that.
Thanks for the question. Clerk, please.
I will follow up again. I did respond afterwards. However, it's been silent on that end, so I'm not sure. I'll see if I can find another contact. Maybe there's something, I don't know. I'll follow up.
Okay, thank you. 15.1 is the Lucknow and District Cadets Club, and the request for change of scope of the request. The dollars are the same. It's just a matter of redirecting it. And I will open it up to council if we have any concerns with that, or if the dollars are the same way, okay. All right, maybe just a show of hands if we're good at this. And that is supported by council. Thank you. We do have some correspondence for information. The Smith Drain, AMGH Long Table, Auburn Hall, Market Road from Daryl Mitchell. I would like to have a brief discussion on 16.2. The event, AMGH Long Table Foundation Dinner, will be held on the 24th of August at the airport this year. Just because the square is under construction. And last year, and I'll confer with staff, is it correct that we donated in the companion Louisa category of $2,500 to $4,900? Is that correct, CAO?
2,500.
Right, 2,500. And will that request be coming back at a future time, or should we address that today? CAO, please.
I would say if council wants to make a decision today, they can do so, and then maybe the clerk will prepare a resolution if they are interested.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate so they know where they're at as far as our contribution. And it's very important. Many of our residents utilize the Goderich Hospital, and it I know would be very welcome. So I will open it up to council if we're in support of a contribution of $2,500. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Sure.
Councillor Snoblin.
Question. Do they not need to submit like all the other grants that we do at budget time? Or is this somehow different?
CAO, please.
Our treasurer has her hand up.
Sorry, I apologize. Alan, please.
So through the community grants policy, charitable events like this one are technically not eligible under that program. So this is a separate request directly to council. If council wishes to support, it no doubt benefits the community, but it's just not within the scope of the community grants policy that we've established.
Okay, Councillor Snoblin.
Thank you for that explanation. That satisfies me, and I'd be happy to support it. $2,500.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yep. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, I should say I'd be happy to support for $2,500, and I'd like to make sure we include it in that total that we're keeping. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'll ask for a show of hands if we're in support. Oh, you'd like a motion? Okay. So I will entertain a motion if we're to contribute $2,500 to the AMGH Long Table Dinner. Moved by Councillor Miltenberg, seconded by Councillor Hecky. CAO, please.
You can carry on. I just have a comment to make after you make the motion.
Okay, before or after the vote?
After the vote.
Okay, we have a motion moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion for $2,500. And that is carried. CAO, please.
So just because we're talking about it, I think it does say that there's 2 complimentary tickets, so I think that's what comes with that particular one, I think. So there's 2 available, so someone needs to decide who's going to be sitting in those places.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Snowden, please.
If I could make a suggestion to that, anybody that would be interested to submit their name, and then it'd be a draw from the names that are submitted.
Okay, thank you. You good with that, CO?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well,
Yeah, I guess we still need to know who's interested in,
yeah.
And then we'll pull out of a hat.
Okay, I would be interested in attending because of my involvement with the hospital. Councillor Snowden, please.
I would be interested in attending as well. That was why I suggested perhaps maybe after a council meeting, if you're interested, put your name on a piece of paper, put it in a hat, somebody draw it.
Okay,
Sounds good. We'll do that after council. Thanks.
perfect. Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business, the AMO conference, Councillor Miltenberg and myself are intending to attend. We'll move on to bylaws. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Sorry, I had a question about 16.3 for Bill. It's the Auburn Hall minutes, and they're talking about improvements to the kitchen, and they're going to send that to the Central Huron. But they also made a comment about the washroom not being up to code, which, unless you're planning on doing something, is that not okay? Or are we, they didn't say anything more than that.
Okay, Deputy, thanks for the question. Deputy Mayor, please.
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Yes, the handicap washroom they have right now is roughly, let's say 7 by 7, is six foot something. And I guess by law or by regulation, they have to be 8 by 8. So it's out about a foot all the way around. But they're going to look at it if there's going to be renovations happening at the kitchen. So, and they're also going to have, and I can't remember the name of the group right now, out to look at it to see if it would pass, you know, because there is lots of room for people to use it. It's just that it doesn't meet the current criteria of 8 by 8. Okay?
Yes, thank you for that.
So would it be the Huron County Accessibility Committee that they're going to have come out and look at that? Is that?
Yes, Brody from Central Huron's going to, they kind of lead all that kind of stuff. So whenever that happens, if they do the rest of the buildings in Central Huron, they're going to have them look at that one as well.
So just for process, not making any comment of it. So this is Central Huron's wheelhouse, but we would be responsible for a portion of it if, say, they try for it and get a grant. So how does that work? Does the board make the decision? Does Central Huron and we get a bill? Just curious.
Thanks. Deputy Mayor, please.
Yes, in the past, the board will approve a budget, and then we're good for a third of that budget. So we are.
So further to that question,
Yes, please
because you
follow.
did mention bringing, I do read the minutes, Bill. You did, somebody wanted the minutes or the budget brought forward earlier so that you could talk about this. Were they talking about a future budget or the budget you just did? Or I was a little unclear on what was going on there.
Okay, as you know, the Lions put their breakfast on up there all the time, and they do use the kitchen a fair bit. And when one of the propane people were in and looked at it, there's some deficiencies in there. So we need to start the ball moving by getting somebody in, looking at it. The Lions have put and I don't know if that went out in the package or not, a wish list in of how they want to see the kitchen done. And so it might be coming in the next one. But anyways, and then they're going to bring in, and I don't know who, but somebody that knows what's supposed to happen there and it'll probably be 2 or 3 years before this comes down the pipe, unless somebody makes it happen sooner. But we're just getting our ducks in the row, as you say, and sometimes to get ducks in the row are tough.
Okay, thank you. Good to that. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So moving on to bylaws, okay to go around the room? Oh, I'm sorry.
Are we done with 16 correspondence?
Is there anything else you would like to comment on that, please?
Yeah, 16.4. I see that we've received the letter from Daryl Mitchell. I personally received an awful lot of letters from the people in that community. And I see by the emails that they were shared with other council members. I just wondered, I guess I'm curious to know, was there a reason why this letter came through and not the other letters?
Okay, thank you for the question. Clerk, please.
This one was specifically requested to be put on public record and brought to the council meeting. So I saw no reason why not to.
Okay, please, Councillor Snowland, thank you for that.
Is there a desire on the part of staff or council to respond to this correspondence?
I could make a comment that I responded on behalf of council to every email that I received on this topic, to the best of my knowledge. Thank you. A question or comment, please?
With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, your response was exactly the same to every person, and it was very short and concise, which, you know, good that it was, you know, brevity is sometimes a good thing. But I didn't feel that it explained very much. So I just wondered if there's a desire by council to, without contravening closed session, if there was a way to respond or a desire to respond.
Okay. Council have any comments? Councillor Miltenberg, please.
I'm guessing that what Anita is referring to is the request to, at the very least, publicly explain the basis for council's decision, which we are unable to do because it happened in closed session. So is the response that we can't publicly explain the basis because it was in closed session? I guess that was the word that jumped out at me, and it certainly has jumped out on every email.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Snowland?
I did confer with the clerk about a response to a letter that I received, and I formulated and wordsmithed the letter and had her approve it. And she did offer to make some changes, and I did make those changes, and I did reply. So I assume that my reply met all the requirements without contravening anything that happened in closed session. So I wonder if there is a possibility from that action that we could publicly put something out to the residents there in terms of correspondence.
So your question is to the residents that forwarded an email, or to all residents, or what were you thinking on that?
I guess that would be up to council or the staff, what their opinion might be.
Deputy Mayor, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In our closed session, we are going to talk about the Brindley Beach Road and stuff like that. So I think we should just accept this letter that came in and then move on and discuss what's on the closed session and continue from there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Clerk, please.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull my thoughts together. What happens in closed session happens in closed session. Talking about, you know, when we reported out of the last session, we reported out what we had agreed to report out on. And how those decisions came to be are under the purview of the closed session. So, I mean, as a parliamentarian, I am to advise you that you don't talk about what happened in closed session. That is how this system works. It protects the interests of the municipality for a variety of reasons. When council, you know, we disclosed those three items, the decisions on the three issues, one being the result of a reconsideration vote. Talking about process is one thing. Talking about why, from a political standpoint, you chose to do something or not to do something is not recommended to be discussed in open. So I think that's as far as I can answer at this point.
We're very thoughtful in the comments as far as reporting out. Councillor Snowland, please.
And I'm sure the clerk would probably confer is that my response talked about process And sometimes people that aren't in a political sphere aren't aware of what process is or what it looks like or procedure. So that would be the basis of my request for communication.
Okay, Clerk, do you have any, no, okay, any further comments of any members of council? Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, I like Bill's suggestion. I think we've said all we can say in open forum.
Okay. Good with that. Councillor Snowblin?
I will support whatever council decides.
Thank you. Okay, any other correspondence for discussion? Seeing none, okay, we'll move on to bylaws. Okay to go around the room with everyone. And the first one would be the Colborne Cemetery bylaw, moved by Councillor Blake, seconded by Councillor Forrester, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 36-2025, being a bylaw to regulate the Colborne Cemetery in the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh, and then it now be read severally a first, second, and third time, and finally passed the 17th day of June, 2025. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. The Wellington Street and Ashfield Street reconstruction loan for 5 years is moved by Councillor Miltenberg, seconded by Deputy Mayor Vanstone. The leave be given to introduce bylaw number 37-2025, being a bylaw to authorize an internal loan for the purposes of the Wellington Street and Ashfield Street reconstruction project, and that it now be read severally a first, second, and third time, and finally passed the 17th day of June, 2025. All in favor of this motion? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. 18.3 is the Wellington Street and Ashfield Street reconstruction loan for 10 years, moved by Councillor Snowblin, seconded by Councillor Hickey. Oh, okay. Okay, it would be moved by Councillor Hickey, seconded by Deputy Mayor Vanstone, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 38-2025, being a bylaw to authorize an internal loan for the purposes of the Wellington Street and Ashfield Street reconstruction projects, and that it now be read severally a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 17th day of June, 2025. All in favor of the motion?
Just a moment.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, you moved that Evan Hickey would move it.
Oh, so I should change that.
I
Yeah.
suggest
Okay.
that it would not.
How be we say, I will change that this motion be moved by Deputy Mayor Vanstone, seconded by Councillor Miltenberg. And I will reread that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 38-2025, being a bylaw to authorize an internal loan for the purposes of the Wellington Street and Ashfield Street reconstruction projects, and then it now be read severally a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 17th day of June, 2025. All in favor of this motion? Opposed? And that is carried. Clerk, please.
Just a matter of process. For moving a motion, you must be in favor of the
Yes.
motion in order to move it.
Thank you for that clarification. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, so you have to be in favor, this is new to me, you have to be in favor to move it, but not to second it.
That's correct. So when a motion is moved, you must be in favor. So you move it because you want it to happen. That's why you're moving it. You only second it so that it be entertained. If there is no seconder, so say there's only one person who wants to move it and nobody seconds it, the motion dies.
Okay, thank you for that. It's a good refresher on Robert's Rules of Order. The closed session is moved by Councillor Blake, seconded by Councillor Forrester, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council move into a closed session in accordance with Section 239 in brackets 2 and brackets C of the Municipal Act, with the CAO, clerk, and the Public Works Superintendent remaining in attendance at 9:53 a.m. for the purpose of discussing a proposed or pending acquisition of the municipality, that being a public ownership of a private road. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. I thank you. Thank you very much to all members of the public for your attendance. We will recess until 10 a.m. to allow our clerk the opportunity to secure the meeting in our closed session. Thank you. Reporting out of the closed session, please, clerk.
There is nothing to report.
Thank you. So we are now on our confirmatory bylaw, and it will be moved by Councillor Snoblin, seconded by Councillor Hickey. The leave be given to introduce bylaw number 39-2025, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Council meeting held on June 17th, 2025, and that it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 17th day of June, 2025. All in favor of the motion? And that is carried. And it would be moved by Councillor Miltenberg, seconded by Councillor Forrester, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council does now adjourn to meet again on July 15th, 2025 at 9 a.m. or at the call of the mayor. All in favor of this motion? That is carried and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much to all for your thoughtful input. Enjoy the rest of the day.